Hi guys, welcome to the next video. This one's going to be salt and vinegar crisps. Yay! Now there's quite a few to go through, so I'll not bother with too many formalities. First up, of course, we'll have a quick run through on the best and worst of the nutritional values and comparative prices. Again, just to remind you, these are all including the price per 100 grams. And I know there may be some, especially with the price variance, depending on whether you buy small packs or multi-packs. I tried to go with the best value that I could see. So multi-packs in the case of most of these. However, there's some which obviously are the bigger packs which don't come in multi-packs. And you may even find other options or various deals in the different supermarkets or shops where you buy these. So do take it with a slight amount of your own judgment. But these are the ones that I believe are generally available around and excluded any special promotions at the time. First off, price. The best one there was Lidl's Ridge crisps, which come in at 42 pence per 100 grams, with Aldi's crisps just a penny behind at 43 pence per 100 grams. The worst offenders there are Walker's Max, which I could only find as the grab bag, which are often seen as part of a meal deal in the various shops, and there was £1.70 per 100 grams. Those ones are the Ridge crisps, and I know, yes, they can be found at a better deal when you do a meal deal, but failing that, if you want to avoid Ridge crisps and those, then it's Tyrells, which are £1.53 per 100 grams. Next up, we're looking at the energy, so the calories. Best here is the Walker's Baked crisps, which sit proudly at 432 calories per 100 grams. Worst, on the other hand, Aldi at 540, and just a single calorie behind is the Tesco's ones at 539. Fat content, but best again is the Walker's Baked, which I suppose is not too surprising, you know, avoiding all the deep frying and such. And they're in at 13.4 grams of fat, including when it comes to being saturated, they're also the best at 1.3 grams of fat. Worst, on the other hand, for normal fat levels, or overall fat levels, was Tesco's at 33.7, and it was the Sainsbury's ones for the saturated fats, which are at 3.6 grams per 100 grams this time. When it comes to sugars, though, it's Seabrook's crisps, which are leading the way at 0.2 grams per 100 grams. If you want to again avoid the Ridge crisps, then we've got sort of the unknown contenders almost in the form of Asda and Co-ops, which just state less than half a gram per 100 grams. Worst, on the other hand, is the Walker's Baked. So they're obviously making up from lack of fats and such by having additional sugars, and they come in at 6.3 grams per 100 grams. Finally, it's the salt content, and once again, it's the Walker's Baked crisps, which are leading the way in terms of lowest salt content, and that's 0.91 grams. Worst, on the other hand, is Co-op's Irresistible ones, which has 2.96 grams per 100 grams. So that's the quick overview. I suppose it's on with the tasting. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Ridge crisps, no particular reason other than to start with them. And first up from those is the Walker's Max Zingy Salt and Vinegar. Yeah, I can see why they said they're zingy. You've got a real zingy, sort of almost citrusy flavour to them. You know, crispy, not overly crispy, which is kind of surprising for Ridge ones. Normally I expect Ridge ones to be a little bit firmer in texture, but that was quite soft by comparison to expectations. Not thrilling me with the flavour. I'm normally quite enjoyed citrus flavours, so that's almost a surprise, but they definitely got the zingy part right. However, the flavour, I'm going to go 37. You know, it's good, but it's not outstanding. In terms of flavour accuracy, yeah, I guess it was zingy, but was it zingy salt and vinegar, or was it more salt and lemon, or salt and lemon and lime kind of flavour? And I have a feeling that's possibly more what I'm getting there, so I'm going to say 16, because it's got the zingy part, it's got the salt part, not the vinegar part. And then for texture, yeah, as I say, it was a bit softer than what I'd go for imagining. And, you know, crisps, you expect them to be crispy, not that slightly soggy, already, like almost as if it's been left open. Trust me, it hasn't been fresh packed. Almost a bit deflated over that, so I'm going to say 6. Okay, next up is Lidl's offering in the form of Snacktastic Salt and Vinegar. What was that? My word, that was awful. I know I've just come from like Walker's, which is like a known brand, should be pretty good, into that, but wow, I'm not really getting any flavour on the potato. That's really awful, quite frankly. Flavour, jeez. I mean, there was a little patch, and if you like potato, yeah, sure, lovely potato. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong, I like potatoes. Gotta love a good baked potato and such. But when you're after crisps, you're not after potato flavour really, unless you're advertised as potato flavour. And it's kind of a cardboard, you know, that kind of useless cardboardy flavour. 5 out of 50, yeah, poor show. Flavour accuracy, on the little bit of flavour that I did get, on the like little patch, I suppose it was kind of salt and vinegary, but there really wasn't much flavour at all, so 1, no, 2, that'd be nice. There was that little patch, but just didn't get to taste it. Maybe if you had the whole pack, you'd build a better flavour up profile, but sorry, from the one crisp that each of these packs is going to get, yeah, you're not getting better than 2 from that. Texture, I'll give you a redeeming feature on that one, so I'll match you to the Walker's one. It was 6. It was, again, not super crispy, and not without being crispy, so at least you held that on you. Right, up next is Lidl's again, but this one is their Deluxe range, Salt and Suffolk Cider Vinegar. Hopefully these will be better. Better, yes. By much, no. Texture's a lot better. Flavour, I'll double the standard one from Lidl, 10 points. Flavour accuracy, yes, you could taste it that time. It's there, but it's not a strong flavour, 10. Texture, as I say, that was a lot better, especially compared to the previous one. And it's more in line with what I expect. Not perfect, but a good crisp in terms of texture, 9. Next up, another of the branded ones, McCoys Salt and Malt Vinegar. Whoa, there's a lot more flavour by comparison. Wow, certainly more vinegar flavour there. The salt's there in the background. I have to say, it's one of those winner type ones. McCoys flavours, yeah, 45. Flavour accuracy, yep, spot on. Quite a zingy one, and as I say, really hits you with the vinegary flavour. So if you don't like vinegar, I suppose you won't be eating salt and vinegar crisps, but possibly the salt being a little bit subtle in the background there. But still, really good effort. 19. Texture, yeah, pretty spot on. It's a crisp, it's what you wanted as a crisp, 10 points. Okay, Our next offering is Tesco's Salt and Malt Vinegar Crisps. Very similar to the McCoys, as it happens. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. A little bit more, you know, you got the potatoey flavour, similar to what I was saying back with the Lidl ones. But it's, you know, it's their backing flavour as a, you know, it's potato flavoured salt and vinegar. Is it quite the McCoys one? No. But pretty darn close. 43. I'm impressed. Flavour accuracy. Again, it's very, as I say, very similar flavour to McCoys ones. I have no problem with matching the score there, so 19. Texture. Again, it's possible that these two came from the same factory, but they've got a different set of statistics, so if they have, they've managed to do a good job in matching the flavour profiles and such, but still a 10 in terms of that. Okay, next up is Tesco's Finest, the salt or sea salt and cider vinegar flavour. I only got them in the crinkle cup. I didn't realise they'd done them in the crinkle and normal, and just ended up picking this pack up. So unfortunately we won't be seeing their standard crisps from this range, but we do have the Tesco's ordinary crisp, which will be later on in the review to see if there's any difference between the pair. Okay. Pleasantly impressed. Again, you've really got the cider vinegar flavour coming through. Very similar to the standard range, but as I say, you've got that cider vinegar flavour by comparison to the malt vinegar, and you can taste it being cider vinegar, which is good to see, or taste even. Yeah, let's say 43. Yeah, I'm for that. Flavour accuracy, yep, no complaints. Salt flavour again, still that little bounce off, which doesn't bother me too much, but 19 for flavour accuracy. Texture, once again, as with the previous ones from Tesco's, 10 points. Next up is a rich one, the flavour of Seabrook's sea salt and vinegar. It's a lot milder flavour than I was expecting from a Seabrook's. I've tried Seabrook's before, and normally it's quite a punch of a flavour. That one didn't quite hit it as I was expecting, which I don't know, no great issue there, but nice enough flavour. But 40 points, not quite as strong as some of the others. Flavour accuracy, it's the flavour. It's not as strong as I was saying. Is it the flavour accurate though? Yes and no. 16 points. Because it's the weaker flavour, it's not coming through overly strong to help say yes, it is that flavour. Texture, a bit softer than the previous ones that we've had, but still quite a crispy crisp, so 8 points there. One thing I'll quickly comment on is it was interesting to see how some of the pack colours are green, some are blue. I believe they used to originally be green, and back in my early days of my youth, they were green, and then sort of mid 90s, I think it was, Walkers shifted across to blue for salt and vinegar, and seemingly, I don't know if the others had that previous change of colour, but it's still one of those oddities I find when some manufacturers have blue, some have green. Doesn't make much difference, I suppose. And for what it's worth, I'll also not be taking into account any broken crisps as like how well they've fared, because for all we know, it could have been the shop staff that decided to have a rather to take out their aggression on the crisp packets. You know, we all have those bad days, so nothing held against them there. Next up is Walker's Baked versions, the salt and vinegar baked. These are kind of textured like crinkle cut or ridge cut, however you want to describe them, but they're quite flat as well, so these are sitting in the middle. I'm not sure if you want to class them as ridge or not. Maybe lacking all the things, but it still packs the flavour. Yep, still fairly a stingy flavour, but not quite as stingy as the Walker's Max. But they've done a favourable flavour there. Quite impressive, really. A very sweet one. It makes sense given the sugars. 43. Flavour accuracy, pretty hot on it. 18. Texture. Being a baked crisp is possibly not going to have that same super crispy thing, but it had a nice kind of texture throughout it, so still worthy of a 8.5, maybe even 9. Ooh, 8.5. Okay, next up, Kettle crisps with sea salt and aceto balsamico di Modena, or balsamic vinegar of Modena. Subtler flavour. It's, yeah, not the strongest flavour. Good. Not perfect. We'll put it at 38. Flavour accuracy. Oh my god, that's balsamic vinegar in there. A little bit. Would I know if you hadn't told me? No. Is it still salt and vinegar? Yes. 13. Texture. One of those softer ones again. Guess it was kind of a 7 really. So here we go. Tesco's salt and vinegar standard edition. Wow, such a complete different flavour compared to the ridge cut. These don't hack it. They really don't. Wow. Flavour 35. It's there, nice, but you know, the full 50 points range is there to be used, and 35 is probably about right for that one. Flavour accuracy. Again, it's one of those ones where the potatoes really coming through. 14. Texture. Texture is going to be 7 points for that one. Next up, again, it's Aldi's Snack Right. Their standard edition again, similar to Tesco's. These are the plain crisps rather than the ridged versions. Aldi. Nope, that was just as terrible as the one of those other earlier ones. Only fitting with similar scores. So 5 for flavour, 2 for the accuracy, 6 for the texture though. Okay, next in line, Morrisons salt and vinegar. Okay, a middling kind of one again. See, flavour 38, accuracy 15, texture 8. Bit softer, but not overly soft. Okay, up next, Co-op salt and vinegar. Unfortunately, it's similar poor flavour ballpark as some of those others. A little bit better than some, so it's not in total wipeout, but not one of the better ones. It's kind of a 10 for the flavour. Accuracy, yeah, it's there, but not overly great. 10 again. Texture, 6. Moving on, the Co-op Irresistible sea salt and Chardonnay wine vinegar. Impressive. A lot better than their standard ones. Pretty nice flavour, to be honest. 43. Flavour accuracy. It's good. Am I getting Chardonnay vinegar flavour? Possibly. But only 16 really. I wouldn't say for 100% sure, other than it being salt and vinegar flavour. Texture, good. Step up from the other ones. Not great, but 8. Okay, so let's do Morrisons Best. Sea salt and Suffolk cider. Okay, straight out from the blocks there, I'm going to say the texture there was more on the over crunchy. You know, when they can just be like possibly too thick for that crunch, and you've got more of a breakdown to do there. I mean, some people may like that, so if you want a really crunchy, crispy one, these are possibly the ones to go for. The flavour's pretty good. It's got to be a 42. Flavour accuracy, yeah, it had quite a bit more of a zing to it, like a cidery vinegar. 17. Texture, like I was saying, that's more of a super crispy, over crispy for me almost. So that's going to knock it back down to an 8. Okay, up next, Lidl's Deluxe Sea Salt and Balsamic Vinegar. First flavour was balsamic vinegar. Unfortunately, it disappeared pretty quickly. That makes it tricky. I say it's a 37 flavour. Actually, yeah, as I say, it was the balsamic vinegar which came through straight away, but unfortunately disappeared pretty quickly with it. Ooh, how do you deal with that? I guess by saying 17 points. Texture, yeah, it was a good 8 from that. Okay, now we're over to Sainsbury's salt vinegar. Okay, that's a similar, slightly underwhelming flavour, like the Tesco's ones that were, you know, standard run-of-the-mill fare. 35. Flavour accuracy, it was good, not great. I'll give that 14. Texture, pretty decent texture. Not super crispy, but a crisp one, so we'll go for 8. With that, we'll then move on to the Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Sea Salt and Suffolk Cider Vinegar. Wonder if they've been speaking to Morrisons. Some of there I can't quite put my finger on. I'm thinking it's the cider vinegar, but it's coming through in a different sort of way. Hard to explain how it's different, but still not a bad one. 40. Flavour accuracy, it's pretty good. As I say, there's something that's just taken a hint away from the accuracy and overall nice flavour. That's going to be a 16. Texture, on the other hand, is good, you know, a crispy crisp. 9. Sticking with the balsamic theme, we've got Marks and Spencer's Sea Salt and Balsamic Vinegar. That's now similar to a malt vinegar. Well, I know balsamic's not a million miles away from them, but it's a maltier balsamic vinegar. Strong undertones of potato. I know I've said that quite a bit, and they're all potato crisps or chips, depending on where you come from. Pretty good, but not overwhelming. 39. Flavour accuracy, yeah, as I say, there's a slight tone to the balsamic vinegar there. 15. Texture, it was a good crisp again, so 9 for that. Next up, M&S Sea Salt and Malt Vinegar. Full on flavour. Full. Wow. That's the saltiest flavoured one I've had so far. Almost kind of tastes a slight bit burnt, but it's not. I think it is that kind of combination of how they created the flavours. Definitely a lot saltier in flavour by comparison. For me, yeah, it's a different profile. Really is quite different. It seems unfair to score it differently from the other one, given that it's still quite flavoured in the same way, you know, quite a different profile, but still equally strong, equally nice in some ways. But for me, I do prefer a more vinegar hit, and that was definitely much more of a salt flavoured hit crisp. Maybe that might be to your preference, in which case I'd recommend them to you. However, for me, that's going to be a 37. Flavour accuracy, there wasn't any really malt vinegar flavour to it. That may be one of the sort of the tangs I was getting in on things, but it's got the salt, so 14. Because I guess I have complained about others not tasting very salty and then scored them decently, so 14. Texture, yeah, no issues there. It was a 9 for that. Okay, the final supermarket one in this case is Asda's salt and vinegar. It was a very thin, light crisp, so it went pretty down quickly. Flavour is okay, no great shakes, 36. Flavour accuracy, good, not overwhelming, 15. Texture, given how thin it was, it just kind of went, didn't have it to it, so 4. Okay, so probably what might be the market leader, Walkers or Lay's in various other countries, salt and vinegar crisps. A balanced flavour, so yes, you have got the salt and vinegar flavour there. However, not overwhelming like the other Max ones or some of the other flavours have been. It's 40. And accuracy, to be honest, yeah, that's 20 points. It was salt and vinegar. Good. Texture, 8. Nothing outrageous, but not too bad either. Okay, and last but not least, Tyrrell's sea salt and cider vinegar. Interesting take. Had that similar kind of odd flavour on. It's like the slight cardboard potato. That's what I'll now call it. Flavour, good, but yeah, 36. Flavour accuracy, it's there, but not huge shakes, 12. Texture, yeah, it was a good textured crisp, so 9 there. Wow, so that was quite enlightening. I'd not expected to see such a range of flavours on salt and vinegar crisps. And on this occasion, the runners-up are the Aldi and Lidl Ridge crisps, both totaling 16 points. Wow. Sorry if you happen to buy those and love those, but unfortunately for me, they really didn't hit what I wanted from them. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the surprise winner for me is Tesco's crisps. Given the value, well done to them. That's quite a surprise. I was expecting some others to possibly pip them to it, but who am I to say? That's why I've been doing these things, these tastes. So I hope you've enjoyed this show. As ever, leave a like if you enjoyed it. Comments as well, always welcome, including any suggestions for what you'd like to see done in the next series of tastings. And of course, if you're feeling particularly generous, there's still the link there for my buy me a coffee to give me a donation. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.